Hello, my name's David. I am the training coordinator for the IDVA course, and today I'm going to be showing you around Moodle. So it's just going to be a brief introduction to Moodle, also known as the Online Learning Center. So here we have the homepage for Moodle. So as you see, it's carda.getmoodle.net. Carda was the name of SafeLives previously. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to change the domain of Moodle for that. But as you can see, it's SafeLives branded, quite obvious there. And first of all, I'm going to need to log in. So before the course started, I would have sent out logins for you to get in. For the purpose of this, I'm not going to use my login, but use test student. So this gives the view of a student as they go on to Moodle. My password's saved on there, so I'm going to log in. So just to give you some context, as a test student, I get access to all of our training courses, or the majority of them anyway, but the one we're focusing on, and the one that you'll see when you log in under my courses, is the Foundation Idva training. So here we go. We're logged in, and this is what we'll see when we're in there. For the purposes of displaying this tutorial to yourself, I have signed up to our first IDVA group of the autumn session. So that's Bristol CC16J. I appreciate this will differ depending on what group you're on, but if you just ignore the name and follow and look at the names of the links, then it will be the same as what you see when you log in. So first thing you see when you log in, some introduction details and contact details. So this is to get hold of myself in the office. This is our training team, of which I'm a part of. A note here, and you have to excuse the bolds there, but it is a case we need to ensure that every learner does complete all the pre-read information before each block. To start block 1, we ask that you look through all these documents, very important documents, including plagiarism policy, of which we'll get on to later. Essentially, don't cheat, as we will find out. But if you are finding that you're struggling with any worksheet, just get in touch with us and we can look to maybe extend the deadline for you. We really don't want anyone getting their backs up against the wall and deciding they're going to cheat and copy off someone else, because we have the software enabled that will tell us that. Anyway, hard news out of the way. We'll get on to the e-learning. So we ask all our learners to complete an e-learning course before most blocks. Before the first block, we've got 2 of them to complete. So when you click this, it gives you some information. So number of attempts allowed, unlimited, which is good news. You can do it as much as you want. And it also tells you how many attempts you've made. So as I'm a test student in a test student account and I've already logged in, I've made 1 attempt. Grade for attempt 1. Now, what you have to realize is that there's no sliding scale of grading for our e-learning. It's either finished or not finished. A 0 indicates it's not finished. A 1 would indicate you finished it. But in any case, let's open it up. So it comes up in a pop-up window, and then you say to launch it, which will bring it up in another pop-up window. So I'm just going to minimize this. And it should load up here. I'm on a bit of a slow laptop, unfortunately, but it's asked me in this grey box here in white font, would you like to resume where you left off? So for the purposes of this, I will. And on the left, so I'm not sure if you heard that voiceover from this recording, but there's a narration on this package here, and it was asking me whether I want to select true or false for these statements. But essentially, you can see that I have gone through the first 3 slides. So I've gone through the before you begin. I'm just going to mute that for the time being, just as it's a little distracting. But I've gone through this slide, and once you get to the end of the timer, this time bar that's progressing along here, it will allow me to click next. You'll find this is a function of many of the learning slides. You may wonder why you can't progress to the next slide. Often it's either because this slider is not finished, or because a box hasn't been checked, or a piece of text hasn't been entered. But as it's changed here, it says select next to continue. I will. And again, please wait for the voiceover to finish. If you have any trouble where it feels like you can't progress the next slide, often it'll be down to this slider, or as I said before, some kind of text entry or selection needed to be made before you can progress. So we'll just have to wait until the slider is gone, and that obviously is there to ensure you've got time to read these statements. And so we're on to the slide that I last got up to. Not being an Idva myself, you'll have to forgive me if I get my first attempt wrong, but let's have a look. Following statements, which one true and false? Term domestic abuse covers a range of behaviors, including physical, psychological, and emotional abuse. I'd say that's true. Next question. I'd say that's also true. Next question. I'd say that's untrue. And last one, the police will only take the action against the perpetrator if there is evidence of physical violence. I'd like to think that's untrue, but it could be true. Okay, that's good news. So that's correct, and I can continue. And that'll put me on to the next slide. So you get an idea of how the slides progress. Once you've worked your way through all of the slides, you'll get to the end of module slide, and as long as you exit from the program on that slide, it will tally your record as completing that e-learning. So when I get out of this e-learning and go back into it to check my record, it should still be on a 0 because I didn't complete it. There we go. Grade for attempt 1, still a 0. Once I have completed it, it will be a 1. So that's how you access an e-learning package. When you've done your first block of classroom training, you'll be asked to download the first worksheet, and you'll get 4 weeks to complete that worksheet and submit it. So I'm going to do this process in one go now and show you how the entire process works, from downloading to filling out to submitting. So first of all, click the worksheet 1 download. Now this is a link to download the worksheet. So depending on what browser you're using, and I'm using Google Chrome, you'll have a download bar which shows you exactly what you've downloaded. You may know this from when you've, say, tried to download a bank statement or download anything else online. It should give you down here this download bar. So all I do is click it to open it up. Now, what I'm predicting is that because this is a document downloaded from the internet, Microsoft Word will say it may be unsafe. There we go, at the top. It's in protected view. So it's saying it's from an internet location and might be unsafe. Because I know and trust us, and I work for SafeLives, I'm going to say I trust them, so I'll enable the editing. I'd advise you do the same too. Otherwise, you won't be able to fill in your answers. So this is the worksheet. And what you can see is that there's space here for grades. There's a space for attempts. As this is my attempt 1, I'm going to delete that 2 and 3. And I'm going to leave this because this is just for the assessor to fill in. But I've got the question here. So what I do is read through it, and then I put my answer in the box here. So typically it's just put in some text. So answer 1. Just like that. And I would then progress through the worksheet, completing all the answers. Bear in mind you've got 4 weeks to do this. How you want to structure your time is your own business, but I'd recommend setting aside a fair amount of time every week to get through this worksheet. This is worksheet 1. There's 17 questions. And so when I'm finished on a session, say one day I've done one answer, what I need to do then is save this this worksheet, because it's been downloaded offline, I'm going to save this to my desktop for easy keeping. Desktop is this background, if you don't know, making no judgment about anyone's technical abilities, and also I'm here to help for this kind of stuff as well. So go back onto Word, and let's hope it loads up. I could well have pushed this laptop to its breaking point here. Let's hope not. There we go. Minimize that. So, worksheet 1. You don't need to keep the full title there. In fact, what I'm going to say is worksheet 1, test student, attempt 1. You get 3 attempts at each worksheet. So I want to make this obvious for when I submitted what it is. So worksheet 1 by test student, and it's attempt 1. That's saving to my desktop. Okay, great. So what I'll do now is close it down as it's been saved. Here it is. I want to pretend, say, that worksheet is complete now. So I'm going to go on to the submission link. There's a little bit of text here saying this is where you upload your worksheet 1 so it can be marked. Fabulous. So I'll click that link to submit it. What will happen now is the page will change, potentially a little slowly, and it will come to a submission page. So this is nice and clear here. Remember I said there were 3 attempts to submit a worksheet? Well, you've got part 1, that's my first attempt, part 2 for a second attempt, and part 3 for a third attempt. So I'm going to submit this paper. And I do that by going on the link down here with the cloud and the upwards arrow for upload. And I go submit it. So you'll get this grayed out box and a pop-up window here. Okay, so the submission title, as I said, this is going to be my worksheet 1, attempt 1. And I'll put in test student again, just so it's obvious. Now, there's 2 ways you can go about putting that worksheet in this box. You can drag and drop files. So you could go onto your desktop, select this file, drag it down into Internet Explorer, and then drag it into this box. That's one way. I'm going to close that and not save it and show you another way. So back to the submission page, I'm going to submit paper. Again, worksheet 1, test student, attempt 1, and you get to see how poorly I type. But anyway, that wasn't very clear, apologies. So next, I'll go, the other option is to click add, so that's the paper with the plus symbol, and then I can choose my file, and you'll get a traditional Windows Explorer box here. So I'm going to go to my desktop, I'm going to click on that file, and I click open. So there it is, it's there, here, it's uploaded. So again, I want to insert the title, so that's worksheet 1, attempt 1, test student, and I will click upload this file. Now before you do, there's a checkbox we ask you to tick. Now this is very important. This is your statement declaring that you accept all responsibility for any copyright infringement that may occur as a result of this submission. In other words, you're saying that this worksheet is your own work. Any material that you may have referenced, you will have given reference to and said, well, I got it off this website. And also that you haven't copied it from, say, a colleague or someone else that you know that's done the course. We do have software which quite easily detects this, and we've had a number of people over the last year or two that have been found out for cheating, essentially, and then we'll have to pay a fee to get that worksheet assessed. There can also be ramifications with your organisation, and in the most extreme case, we have heard of one person being dismissed, albeit as part of a number of infringements they had in the role, but cheating on the worksheet was the last straw, as it were. So please, please, do not cheat on your worksheet. We will find out. If you're having trouble with the worksheet and struggling to complete on time, please call me. Call me or email us and let us know you're having trouble, and we'll discuss it. And 9 times out of 10 will allow a deadline on your worksheet submission so that you can have more time to complete it. Okay, so this is all my work. As you know, I've only put answer 1 in the question 1 answer box, so there's not much I could have cheated from, and I can confirm it's mine. And then this box down here will go pink. So as you can see, it's grayed out at the moment. Once you confirm it, it will go pink, and then you can click it. So it's uploading the submission to Turnitin. Turnitin is our submission software we use through Moodle, and that is where we have our plagiarism software. That's where it shows whether I've been cheating or not. So here we go. We've got a receipt here. Your submission has successfully been uploaded to Turnitin. Fantastic. Okay, that's good news. And there's a submission extract. So this is part of the questions here. It's all just put it in one block of text. I wouldn't worry about that. Just the news that it's been successfully uploaded is good enough. So I'll close that now. And what you can see where we submitted it is now there is a paper there. So you can see here, worksheet 1, test student attempt 1. Remember, I put that name in. And it was submitted when this was recorded on the 28th of September 2016, 10 minutes to 12. Okay, so I'm here, and I know I've submitted it now. I want to get back to the main page. So in order to do that, you've got a number of links along the top. I've gone from my courses. I've gone into independent domestic violence training. I've gone into the Foundation Idva training, of which you're part of the course. So I'm going to click that, and that link will take me back to the main page. Okay, so I've submitted my worksheet. I'm in block 1. It's been submitted. If you want to check again, by all means do. I'm going to go back into that link, and this is just my reassurance that I know the worksheet that I submitted is there, and my assessor is going to pick it up. Fantastic, it's definitely there. Good to be reassured, I think. So now into the Foundation Idva training again, and what you'll find is you can collect the feedback for your worksheet here. Worksheets should not be submitted here. If you try to upload them, the system will reject your submission. Now this sounds pretty obvious, but we have had learners go on before, perhaps panicked and in a bit of rush, and they're like, I need to upload my worksheet as soon as possible. Right, worksheet 1, let's put it in there. And there is a somewhat confusing tab down here that says Add Submission. Now, this is for your assessor to add their feedback. It's not for you as a student to add your submission. Again, worksheets should not be submitted here. So hopefully we've made it nice and clear. Okay, so when you do have feedback, you need to, the only way you can check when your feedback comes is by looking maybe every few days just to see if anything's on there. So submission status. And this again refers to the submission of feedback by your assessor. So there's no attempt at feedback from them, and it's not been graded. When you do get feedback, it will appear below this line. So it'll appear down here, and you'll get your file, and you'll be able to access it and see your grade. So we do like to remind learners that it's their responsibility to use Moodle frequently. Have a look around, explore. You're not going to break anything by opening links up. And if there's stuff that we don't want you to access, then we will have blocked it out. So remember, for this purpose, I am part of the Bristol group. So because my next my next classroom learning isn't until the 11th of October and it finishes on the 13th, I won't be able to submit a worksheet until after the training is finished. Now, the point of this is that worksheet 2 relies heavily on the learning in block 2, so we don't want people submitting the worksheet before they've had the learning. Sound fair? I think so. So anyway, we've hidden this and it won't be available until that time. So I hope this has given you an idea of Moodle. If there's anything that this brief tutorial hasn't covered, please do have a look at the PDF we've got here. This is Idva Foundation Training course information. So that gives you some more information, and also another guide to Moodle in a written form. So I've opened these both up in different tabs, You can do this quite easily by pressing Control and then clicking, rather than just clicking, in which case it will open it up over the page you've just opened. So there's a load of information here about the course, foundation training. I'll just scroll through it quickly, give you an idea. Structure of the course, what to expect, the learning environment, e-learning, plagiarism, some really good information, and up-to-date info about the course. And the other one, quick guide to the online learning center. As I said, if what I've just done isn't that clear, there's some written notes here. Excuse me, I just sneezed and had to mute that for you. Okay, so hopefully that's everything for you guys. If you do have any further queries and you've really gone through everything, had a look at the course information, the online learning center guide, you're still stuck, give us a call. The number's down here, and myself or one of my team will be able to help you. Okay, so I'm going to finish up this call now. I hope that has been very informative and you've enjoyed it. Thank you.